Welcome to the deep dive. We're here to cut through all the noise, sift through the complex stuff, and really pull out those actionable aha moments that help you get truly informed. Today, we are plunging right into, well, just a phenomenal resource, the collected wisdom of Simon Squibb. I mean, this is a guy who built 19 companies himself. 19! And then he went on to invest in, get this, 78 startups. So think of this deep dive as like a shortcut. 30 years of business knowledge distilled down for you, packed with some pretty unconventional insights. Simon's core promise here, and he gives us away for free, is basically everything you need to start, grow, maintain, and even sell a business. What's really exciting, I think, is how much of his advice just challenges the usual way of thinking. It's often quite counterintuitive. Okay, let's unpack this journey into entrepreneurial success.
Yeah, it's such a valuable perspective, isn't it? Precisely because it comes from so much, real-world hands-on experience. And what jumps out at me straight away is that this isn't just a list of, tactics. It's more fundamental. It's about shifting how we even approach business challenges. It really asks us to question some deeply ingrained assumptions about what success really means.
Absolutely. And that questioning starts right at square one, really.
Yeah.
He basically dismantles one of the biggest myths out there, that you absolutely need some totally original idea or a unique market gap to start. He points to his own company, Fluid. Hugely successful, became one of Asia's biggest agencies. But the kicker, when he started it, there were something like 500 other businesses doing almost the exact same thing.
Wow.
Yeah. So originality clearly wasn't the key there. Instead, he insists a business starts with a feeling, an instinct, and crucially, following your passions. He even says there's no work-life balance. He says there is only syncing up your life with your business. So for you listening, maybe think about this. What do you genuinely love doing versus what do you really, really dislike? How could that shape your own path?
That's such a critical point because, if you build a business on genuine passion, that provides this incredible foundation for endurance. When the tough times inevitably hit, and they always do, right? That deep love for what you're doing, that's your fuel. That's what keeps you going. It helps you weather storms that would just sink a venture built only on, say, a market opportunity. And Simon really flips the script on education, too, doesn't he? School teaches us, get better at your weaknesses. His business approach is the opposite. Get obsessed with what you love. Get brilliant at it. And strategically outsource the stuff you hate or aren't good at. It's all about playing to your strengths.
Playing to your strengths. Even if, sometimes, it means looking a bit like you're failing. Which brings us to another really counterintuitive idea he pushes, the power of losing. He talks about losing, I think it was £1 million on a comic book business, a massive loss.
Yeah.
But he now says that failure was absolutely essential for his later success. He suggests adopting what he calls a D-student mentality, someone who isn't afraid to fail. Unlike a student who's maybe paralyzed by needing everything to be perfect, his advice is literally learn to enjoy looking like you're a loser and let people underestimate you. Embracing losing like that, it feels so against the grain, doesn't it? Does that D-student approach carry big risks, especially if you don't have deep pockets?
That is a really fair question. And important. It's where the nuance comes in, I think. Simon's advice isn't about being reckless, or just careless with money. It's more about calculated experiments. For someone with limited funds, maybe losing translates to losing small, failing fast, learning quickly from these micro failures, rather than betting the farm on one big, untested idea. It's about building resilience, but smartly. You're building, as he puts it, stamina and the ability to lose, which is just vital for real innovation. It kind of forces the question, doesn't it? Are you willing to swallow your pride a bit in the short term for that long-term gain of learning and growth?
That's a great way to put it, reframing failure as like an investment in learning.
Yeah.
And that long-term view ties straight into what Simon calls his secret formula to winning, delayed gratification. He tells this fantastic story about Fluid, his agency. He did the work for his very first client completely free.
Wow.
Just gave it away.
Yeah.
But that one act of, generosity and really over-delivering, it led to 16 years of loyalty from that client and tons of referrals.
Right.
And here's where it gets really interesting. He points to giants like Facebook and Instagram. They famously built these huge user bases for, nearly 10 years?
Yeah, a long time.
Before they even really started monetizing properly, they just waited. Focused entirely on delivering value to users first.
That's such a great illustration of building value first. Delayed gratification, in this business sense, it allows you to build what people call economic moats.
Right.
Those unique advantages, a strong brand, network effects, deep customer loyalty that make it super hard for competitors to catch up. Think about Apple, how they cultivated that design-first culture. Their products felt indispensable long before the App Store was even a thing. It's about creating this unshakable value.
Mm-hmm.
These companies, they focused on becoming essential to people's lives first. Revenue came later. That's how they built businesses that last.
Its long-term thinking also seems to apply to what Simon calls hacking luck and taking risk. He's pretty blunt. Luck is hackable. He says you do it through three things: persistence, knowing your destination, and taking risk. And he explicitly calls out the old saying, the harder you work, the luckier you get. Calls it a lie designed to make you work hard. Ouch.
Huh, yeah, that's direct.
Instead, he says, lean into fear. Learn to love fear. Because, he argues, the more intentional risk you take, the luckier you actually get. That really does flip the script on hard work, doesn't it? How does that connect back to persistence and knowing where you're going?
Well, I think the key is it's not about blind risk-taking. That's crucial. Persistence is how you stay in the game long enough for those calculated risks to actually have a chance to pay off.
Right. Yeah.
And knowing your destination, that gives your risks direction. It means you're not just, throwing darts hoping one hits.
Right.
Without a clear goal, you're just taking chances. That's gambling, not really entrepreneurship. Simon's saying, be intentional with your risks, learn from them, and that actually boosts your chances of good outcomes. It's about creating your own luck, really.
Creating your own luck through focused effort and strategic daring.
Right.
Okay. So intentional risks, not just reckless ones. Got it. Now, let's shift gears a bit from mindset to some really practical tools. Simon, in his usual style, goes straight for the traditional business plan. He says, forget that shit. Business plans actually kill companies.
Whoa. Strong words.
Yeah. Instead, he's a huge advocate for the mind map. He says it's much more liquid, it keeps you nimble and free to explore possibilities. That's a pretty bold claim about business plans, isn't it? Do you think there's any time a traditional plan still makes sense? Maybe for investors or something?
It is provocative, and I think Simon's hitting on that rigidity, how it can just stifle organic growth, innovation. But you're right, for certain external audiences, like if you're pitching for a bank loan or trying to get VC funding or maybe a big grant, they often expect a clear narrative, even if it's dynamic. The key is knowing what it's for. It should be a living guide, not some sacred text set in stone. And maybe Simon's mind map is that living guide, just visualized differently. It allows for that essential nimbleness.
So don't be chained to it. Okay. Here's how he suggests using a mind map. You put your hobby, what you love, in the middle, then branch out to your business. He uses his own example, Free Humanity, which is now Help Bank. His mind map had podcasts on it. That led to building a network over 200 entrepreneurs. From that network, he saw chances for brands like GoDaddy and Adobe to partner up. An app idea grew out of it. And apparently, even a future sweet brand called Buses was on that original mind map. And it's only just happening now, like 4 years later. It's dynamic.
Exactly. The real genius of the mind map is that flexibility. Unlike that rigid, 20-page document, it lets you adapt constantly, connect ideas. It mirrors the messy, organic, nonlinear way businesses actually get built. It's a living blueprint that grows with you, keeping you, as Simon says, nimble like a boxer.
Yeah.
Helps you spot connections and opportunities that a straight line of text might just completely miss. It maintains that agility.
That nimbleness, yeah, that seems key.
Yeah.
Okay, next up, how to sell. He insists it's a system anyone can learn. And his core nugget, sell the sizzle, not the steak.
Ah, the classic.
Totally. Reminds me of this awful pitch I saw once for accounting software. All features, no benefits. Do you have a favorite sizzle example?
Oh, definitely. I mean, besides the obvious, like Steve Jobs talking game changers and creative types instead of processor specs, think about Red Bull early on. They weren't selling an energy drink. They were selling extreme sports, adventure, pushing limits. The drink was just the fuel for that whole lifestyle. Pure sizzle.
And that's a good one.
And Simon reveals his own accountant was actually his best salesperson at Fluid because she sold the results, We saved this company from bankruptcy, or we made them an extra $1 million. Not just we do marketing services.
Yeah.
It's the transformation they remember.
That's brilliant. So his system is basically 3 steps. 1, understand your customer. Do they actually need what you have? 2, critically, do you like them? He actually says, drop rude people. Because that genuine connection matters, and if you get those 2 right, the deal just sort of happens naturally.
Right.
But here's the twist. The really top salespeople, the top 1%, they don't just chase 5 leads. They play the long game, building relationships over like 9 years through consistent, non-pushy contact. They build a system in sales that lasts. Marathon, not a sprint.
It really is. Simon tells this great story about wanting to hire a car salesman. The guy, instead of pushing a car in his lot, honestly told Simon a different car at another dealership would be a better fit.
No way.
Yeah, even though it meant zero commission for him. That honesty, that long-term thinking impressed Simon so much he wanted to hire the guy on the spot. It just perfectly shows the power of putting the relationship first. It makes you ask, right? Are you really bringing value and building trust, or are you just trying to close a deal? The long game breeds that trust. Invaluable.
Totally. It's all about connection, which flows right into how to market. Simon reckons 50% of what you spend will probably be wasted if it's not targeted properly. Marketing isn't just noise, it's understanding who your customer is and connecting with people over time. He mentions Facebook again, starting in universities with that single or available feature, tapping right into what that niche cared about.
Super targeted.
And then there's his staircase philosophy. He asks, what's your staircase? Meaning, what's that unusual, attention-grabbing thing you can do? And he's got a literal example. Simon bought an actual staircase in London for £26,000.
A literal staircase.
Oh, yeah. We got him front page coverage. New York Times, BBC. Then he put a doorbell on it, invited people to ring it and share their dreams. That got more stories. And eventually partners like Ring Doorbell came on board. It was this creative, evolving marketing piece you just couldn't ignore.
That's brilliant. Just brilliant. Because it ties the marketing directly to his purpose, right? Helping people achieve dreams. It makes it stand out. It's not just a gimmick. It's making marketing fun, sustainable, connecting back to doing what you love.
Exactly.
And it avoids that trap of just trying to shout louder than everyone else. Think about Starbucks' early strategy. They use the stores themselves as marketing, placing them carefully to become part of the neighborhood.
Right, I remember that.
And they focused so much on their staff, their partners, that internal culture became this really powerful, authentic, external marketing message.
That's a great parallel. The place itself is the ad. Okay, shifting now to partnerships and growth. Simon talks about the value of a co-founder. He's the gym buddy analogy. They provide crucial accountability. And he has that great line, I personally would rather have 50% of a business I enjoy that's successful than 100% of a nightmare and a failure.
Good perspective.
To find one, he says, figure out what you love and hate doing. Then look for someone with opposite skills. But this is key, the same moral code.
That moral code point is so important. It raises the question, are you putting as much thought into choosing a business partner as you might a life partner? Simon suggests the process should be pretty similar, and for good reason. You're building something together long term. You need shared vision, trust, compatible values.
Yeah.
He even has that reputation versus money test he mentions, using Bernie Madoff as a cautionary tale.
Right.
It's about finding someone who won't cut corners ethically for a quick buck. It's deeper than just skills.
Absolutely critical for the long haul.
Yeah.
His practical advice, write down every detail of your ideal co-founder, like really visualize them, then post it everywhere. Tell people you're looking, be specific. And he has a similarly unique take on getting a mentor. He basically says, forget the title mentor. What you actually need is someone who can answer the questions that you have.
Interesting distinction.
Yeah. So his strategy is, 1, research what matters to them. Don't ask him about property development, for instance, because he hates it. 2, define what you need to see. Maybe just ask a specific question instead of asking, will you be my mentor? 3, maybe reframe it. Ask them to be an advisor on an advisory board, often involving equity. 4, leverage your network for referrals. But his most powerful point, number 5, is give value to the person you want as a mentor first. Offer to redo their website, connect them to someone useful, help them before you ask for anything. It's that give without take idea again.
It really is fascinating how that advice on finding mentors just perfectly mirrors the whole give without take philosophy we've been seeing, right? It's all about genuinely building relationships, providing value up front. That naturally attracts the support and guidance you need way more effectively than just asking for help. It shifts the dynamic. You're not just asking for a handout. You're initiating a potential collaboration. It makes the connection much more meaningful, more reciprocal. It's a real investment.
A genuine investment in the relationship. Yeah, that makes so much sense. Okay, finally, he briefly touches on going global. He argues it can actually remove a lot of the risk because you're diversified across different markets. And he throws in another surprising nugget. It's easier to run a big company than a small company.
Okay.
His message seems to be, don't get trapped, either in one market or in a business that just consumes your entire life.
And zooming out on that point, the ability to go global or just to scale significantly isn't just about more markets or more revenue. It's about building a resilient, sustainable business, one that ultimately frees the founder rather than enslaving them. A larger, more diverse company can actually provide the resources, the team, the structure to give the founder more freedom, not less.
Right?
Freedom to focus on the vision, the passion, instead of being constantly bogged down in the day-to-day grind. It's about building a vehicle for your life, not, a cage.
Wow. A vehicle, not a cage. That's a great way to think about it. We have covered so much ground today, digging into Simon Squibb's 30 years of wisdom. We've talked about shifting your mindset, follow your passions, embrace losing, practical stuff like sell the sizzle, not the steak, and thinking, brand, not business. We looked at tools like the mind map, the staircase philosophy for marketing, and how to build strategic partnerships, even finding mentors by giving value first. So much of this really pushes against the standard advice, offering a really powerful, proven alternative path. So what stands out to you listening right now? How might rethinking your own approach to, say, losing or selling change your path? Or maybe spark that next big idea you've been thinking about?
It really leaves you with a big question, doesn't it? If you are truly building something you love with real purpose and you're genuinely committed to playing the long game by giving value first, do you even need to obsess about selling the business down the line? Or will success find you in a much deeper, more fulfilling way just by doing those things right?
That is a truly provocative thought to end on, and it ties everything together so well. Thank you for joining us on this deep dive into entrepreneurial success. Until next time, keep digging, keep discovering, and keep building what you love.